Welcome to Red Bottom Bestie Story Time. I'm going to read you a chapter from A Shoe Story by Jane Rosen, all about Christian Louboutin shoes. So pull up a comfy chair, get cozy, and let's read the chapter entitled Red Bottom Shoes from A Shoe Story by Jane Rosen. Oh, and by the way, if you want to find out how you can get a signed copy by this author, wait until the end of this video. The Red Bottom Shoes. Esme Nash strolled across the Dartmouth Green, committing each sight, sound, and smell to memory. Set to graduate the next day, she had approached every moment of her last weeks of college with the sense of impending nostalgia. She'd savored her last scoop of Murano gelato on Main Street, her last latte at the library coffee shop, and her final grade, an A+, on her senior thesis in art history titled The Seven Muses of Gustav Klimt. As she breathed in the scent of fresh-cut grass, Esme wondered if she would soon start feeling just as sentimental about the smells of New York City. She was pretty sure that New Hampshire would win the olfactory contest, but thought New York might take the lead with her other senses. Esme reached her destination, the Hinman Mail Center, to pick up the package that her mom had now asked her about at least 6 times. The last package, she noted sentimentally, of her college career. She was also hoping to purchase a poster tube large enough to safely transport the life-size replica of her favorite Klimt painting, The Kiss, which had hung on her walls since first-year student move-in day. The golden masterpiece had followed her throughout her 4 years on campus, and she wasn't about to leave it behind as she started her next big adventure. Though Esme Nash grew up in a small town in upstate New York, she'd always yearned to live in a big city, specifically Manhattan. In a few days' time, her dream of doing so would become a reality, and she was still pinching herself. She handed the package notification to the mail clerk and pulled out her to-do list while she waited. The frazzled mail clerk returned carrying a shoebox-sized package wrapped in brown paper with her parents' return address in the corner. Esme immediately shook it while the overwhelmed clerk searched for the delivery log. "It's shoes!" she exclaimed to no one in particular except me. Hello, I'm obsessed. "Wait, you have to sign for it," the clerk called out, still searching. The box most likely contained a pair of Birkenstocks, her practical mother's idea for walking in graduation. Maybe she had gone with a black patent leather straps as opposed to nubuck. Fingers crossed. There was a small chance, though, that the box contained a pair of vintage Christian Louboutin pumps, specifically Pigalle, named for the Risqué district in Paris. A used pair of the classic red-bottom shoes were Esme's dream acquisition, and she and her mom had turned searching for them into a never-ending thrift shop treasure hunt. They had spotted a few scuffed and scraped red soles in her size over the years, but Esme was determined not to settle for a single scratch that she had not personally inflicted on the shiny red bottoms. Could her mom have hit the jackpot just in time for her college graduation? "Sign here," the clerk shouted. Everyone was spent by the end of the semester, and this woman was clearly no different. Esme passed on asking for the poster tube. She didn't see any and was not up for waiting around for another search, too anxious to get back to her room and tear open the package. She signed her name, thanked a clerk, and shook her box again. On the way back to her dorm, Esme allowed herself to dream that the box actually contained the sophisticated black patent pointed toe pumps with the sky-high heels and the trademarked bright red soles. The latter detail was the equivalent of a secret covenant for a future filled with glamour, excitement, and promise. She pictured wearing the shoes after graduation, on the first day of her prized internship at the Hudson Payne Gallery. She imagined standing in them at the day's end, peering out of the window, anticipating the arrival of her boyfriend, Liam Beck. From there, they would wander across the narrow downtown streets, holding hands before ducking into their local haunt for a bite to eat and a glass of Merlot. Liam and Esme had begun concocting their future plans in the earliest weeks of their relationship. Once she discovered that he shared her New York City dreams, Esme fell even harder for the clean-cut, handsome, baseball-playing Alpha Delta from Cape Cod, who she had imagined to be just a fling. Their vast differences, him at his happiest shotgunning a beer, her at her happiest in the galleries of the Hood, Dartmouth's campus art museum, shrank in comparison to their similar life goals. Never mind that when he kissed her, even after nearly 3 years of dating, her heart still raced. She pictured herself kicking off the red-bottom pumps to climb the gazillion stairs to the fourth-floor Greenwich Village walk-up the two were set to share, even though her mother had gone on and on about the cow and the milk whenever she had brought up living in sin. It's about being practical, Esme had explained, so that I'll have enough money after rent to buy my own milk. Practicality, her mother understood. Exorbitantly expensive high-heeled shoes, not so much. Esme couldn't take it anymore. She leaned the package atop one of the ivy-spattered brick walls that marked the old New England campus and ripped off the outer paper to reveal happy graduation gift wrap and a bright pink card. "Open the card first," she heard her mother insisting. In typical Maggie Nash fashion, the note was long-winded and filled with praise for her only child, the joy she had given her, the endless pride she had in all of her accomplishments, and a lot of talk of the future and all the changes that were coming for them both. That part left Esme curious regarding her parents' plans for their fast-approaching emptiness. It ended with, "A gift for walking into your future. Love, Mom." She reached for it and tore off the paper, revealing a light brown shoebox with Christian Louboutin's signature scribbled across it in white, the word Paris added auspiciously in one corner. Her hands trembled as she shook open the lid. She pulled out the red felt dust bag and then the shoes, brand new, black, patent Pigalle pumps with 100mm heels and those signature red bottom soles. She clutched them like a life vest, lay down on the front seat of her car and whispered, "Thank you, Mommy," before falling off into a fitful sleep. If your own signed copy of A Shoe Story, send me a message because we are hosting a very intimate event here at Madison Avenue where Jane Rosen herself is going to be here reading a chapter from this book, A Shoe Story, and signing copies. All you have to do to get one is join us at the event, or if you purchase a pair of shoes for the day of the event, I can ship you a signed copy as well.